Hello, I'm Rachel Jones for the Finance News Network. Today I'm speaking with CEO and MD of BluGlass, Giles Bourne. Giles, welcome back to FNN.
Thanks, Rachel.
Now, congratulations on the commissioning of the BLG 500. Can you tell our viewers what this is and why it's such an important milestone?
Yeah, so the BLG 500 is the culmination of 2 years worth of work where we've introduced RPCVD into the largest platform ever. So it's on a commercial scale tool that will be widely used in the industry. We've done this in collaboration with our partner Axtron. It's an Axtron based equipment. They've helped us develop this tool. We've just commissioned that tool, so that's now up and running as producing material, and it's now going through performance testing. So we expect it to contribute to our roadmap. It is going to be a novel technology. It's not. It's applying RPCVD in a way it hasn't been done before. So it's pretty exciting. It's a huge amount of effort from our engineers and our scientists to get to this point. And we're now seeing the fruits of that labour.
And you've been awarded a co-funded innovation grant of $250,000. Can you tell me more about this and the aim of the project?
Yeah, sure. So this is from our Manufacturing Growth Centre, and it's really to help with the plasma source, to get a more dense plasma source, which will contribute to our main projects through the LED and the laser diode. So it's going to be applied to our smaller tools, the BLG 300. And it's a year-long program, and we do expect it to make a contribution to our roadmap, both technical and commercial.
Now, as a high-tech manufacturer of RPCVD manufacturing, can you tell me about the processing as a leader in that field?
The RPCVD is a unique technology. I've been working on it for a number of years, and what we discovered is numerous applications for our technology. And for a long time, we were looking at how we could license out the technology. But recently, and I say recently, within the last sort of year and a half or so, we realised that there was some opportunities to apply our technology on a product-based strategy. So rather than looking at licensing, looking at actually manufacturing a device where we can control the supply chain and actually selling that device. So we now have sort of more of this dual strategy where we continue working with our partners with licensing, and this is for LED and sort of micro LED applications, but with this laser diode device that we've been talking about a lot recently in the last year is one where we know that we can manufacture with our installed base, we can control the supply chain, we know what the customers want, we know what the roadmap looks like, both technical and commercial, and we have some sort of very precise timings of when we expect to introduce products. So product this year, revenue next year from that. So that's something we've been establishing over the last year. It's well in place now, and we're sort of marching along our roadmap.
And you've opened a new test centre in New Hampshire in the US. What can you tell me about what's taking place there?
So as part of the supply chain for laser diodes, we're doing all the science really happens in Australia. So the epitaxy on our reactors happens in Australia. Then we send out the material through our supply chain for processing. There's mechanical processing that happens to this material to turn it into laser diodes. And the very end of that process, it ends up in our processing facility in New Hampshire, which is where the testing happens, the QA, and the product will then be shipped from New Hampshire. And that facility is driven by our general manager of laser diodes, who's called Brad Siskavich. He's been with us for a number of years now, and we're hiring into that business in New Hampshire. So we're putting in some extra technical expertise there, but that will be a major contributor to our sort of supply chain and ultimately shipping products from there.
And recently BluGlass issued some shares under the COVID-19 compensation program. Can you tell me about that?
Like any business, we want to make sure we were well funded to get through this interesting and challenging period we're going through. So we did go back to shareholders and ask them to support the business, but to show our commitment to that business, because we all are true believers in the RPCVD technology and what BluGlass is doing. The whole of the board, the management and the staff took between 25% and 50% of our salary in BluGlass shares for this sort of 3-month period to really just sort of emphasise that we are entirely committed to the outcome of this business. And so shareholders appreciate that enormously. We were able to get the business funded through the sort of commercialisation phase.
And to the last question now, Giles, what can shareholders expect over this financial year?
Aside from the LED and micro LED, which we'll continue to work with our partners, it really is a laser diode focused business in the short term, and that really is about meeting our technical goals. So we expect to have products launch, and I say products, multiple products launch this year, and then into revenue next year. BluGlass needs a established revenue stream, really get this technology on the map, and we see this is the way to do it. Continue to work with our partners as well, but really, for our investors, for our stakeholders is really looking out at that laser diode roadmap.
Giles Bourne, thanks so much for the update today.
Thank you very much, Rachel.